1993, Colombia. Pablo Escobar is on the run. He's public enemy number one, and his empire is falling apart. The once so powerful king of Colombian snow has practically lost all his power. While Escobar flees to a safe house with his trusted sicario, Limon, law enforcement is closing in on their high-value target. Catching Escobar had been an incredibly complex task, marked by many failed attempts, so why did they succeed so easily this time? And more importantly, what really happened that day? Several people claim to have fired the fatal bullet that ended Pablo Escobar Gaviria's life. There's the official American version of what happened, and then there's the Colombian version.
As you know, the official version of what happened is that Pablo Escobar was shot by the police while trying to escape.
Well, we have more than one official version. If you ask the North Americans, they will tell you we were the ones who killed Pablo Escobar. And if you ask the Colombian police, they will tell you we were the ones.
And
So
you
we
have your own opinion about this?
I don't have opinion. I have proofs. I have evidence. It's different from opinions.
How come?
Because I have the recordings of my father. He never...
If you watched Narcos on Netflix, I hate to break it to you, but you've been lied to. So in this video, with the testimonies of Escobar's son, brother, and the people who hunted him down, I will paint the picture of what really happened on that fateful day in December of 1993. Who killed Escobar? Several organizations were looking for him. Was it Los Pepes, the Colombian police, the US government, or the paramilitary group AUC? There are several hypotheses about his death with official sources, and that makes it even more difficult to find out what really happened. Fortunately, there is some truth in the official version. Escobar's top priority was the safety of his family, so he attempted to strike a deal with the US government and failed. Not once, but twice. His next plan was Europe. Escobar's family boarded a plane to Germany, accompanied by both Colombian police and the DEA. But the plan fell apart. They were immediately deported to Colombia, and upon arrival, confined to an apartment in Bogotá under strict police surveillance. The hunt for Escobar was relentless. He was smart, and every move was calculated. So how did they finally track him down? On December 2nd, 1993, early in the afternoon, just one day after Pablo Escobar's 44th birthday, he called his son, Juan Pablo, while under strict police surveillance. Despite teaching his family that phone conversations were a no-go, the king of cocaine broke his own golden rule. He neglected his own advice, even after being warned by his son that it wasn't safe to continue the conversation. So, why did he do it? Did Pablo know his time was up? Did he just want to talk to his son one last time before ending it all? To understand why Pablo made that call, you need to understand the dynamics of his family relationships and his business. Escobar is often portrayed as a loving family man and caring father who also ran a brutal drug empire. And while that's true, he didn't hide one from the other. His son famously said,
I know both. I know both because he was my father, but also he was a bandit. And when I was 7 years old, he told me, look, I am a bandit. That's what I do for a living.
Before this, before you really knew, what kind of father was he?
Well, he was...
as far back as you can remember.
Well, I remember him giving me a lot of love, being at home with me and my family. He was a very good man with me.
Juan Pablo grew up in a privileged household with a loving father who always made time for him, even while running the Medellin cartel from their mansion. He had a massive pool, maids, and even his own private zoo with hippos and other exotic animals. It was impossible for him to lack anything during his childhood. However, danger was always around the corner. That same mansion, which he called home, was also the operational hub of the Medellin cartel, a cartel responsible for supplying 90% of the US cocaine market. From that house, assassinations were ordered, drug routes were planned, and violence constantly loomed. It wasn't completely safe either, as the family endured multiple assassination attempts. As Juan Pablo grew older, He began to understand that his father was a violent monster, and he tried to change him. The king of cocaine couldn't be changed, but his love for his family remained strong. And that love is exactly why he called his son while they were detained in Bogota. You see, Escobar wanted to ensure his family's safety. He had two choices. He could flee to the hills on his own, leaving his family behind to face a living hell, with death as the likely outcome. Or he could betray himself, ensuring his family had a second chance at living a normal life. Pablo knew his family was in danger. Los Pepes could strike at any moment, and his family were sitting ducks. His enemies would stop at nothing to get to him, even if it meant killing his loved ones. According to his son, Sebastian Marroquin, Pablo Escobar wrote his own final chapter.
Why do you think he called you?
Because he wanted to be found. It was a way of committing suicide. My father understood that there will be never any safe place for his family. And he understood that either we are going to appear as dead, or he had to choose that.
Calling his son at the hotel, knowing full well the phones were tapped, was the last thing a seasoned drug lord like Pablo Escobar would do if he wanted to survive. His son ended the call 6 times before the search block and Los Pepes were able to pinpoint his location through triangulation. It was at this very moment his son realized Pablo Escobar wanted to be found.
We spoke a lot. You don't have to stay in the phone because you know what's going to happen. And I hang up, but he was kept calling and calling and calling, and that's why I understood that he was willing to get killed.
Pablo had spent his birthday at his aunt's house together with his bodyguard, Lee Mon. But now, after that phone call, time was running out. To avoid capture, he had to move fast. And yet, he didn't. Instead of changing locations, he just stood there in front of an open window, waiting to be found. It was there that he was spotted by an undercover agent of the search block. After a rooftop chase in the neighborhood near his aunt's house, Pablo Escobar was shot. But by who? There are 7 possibilities: a sniper from Los Pepes, a search block officer, a Delta Force sniper, a Colombian policeman, the leader of the paramilitary group AUC, or the brother of Don Berna named Rodolfo Bejarano. According to the official version, a member of the search block squad eliminated him. But that begs the question, can we trust the official statement? You see, there are no video recordings of Pablo Escobar's elimination, only photographs. So what can we rely on to determine what really happened? The answer lies in the autopsy of his body. The autopsy reveals that Pablo was hit by bullets in the torso and feet, and one bullet that fatally struck him in the head. But not just anywhere on his head, behind the right ear. This is where things get interesting. Pablo once told his family that if he was ever cornered with no way out, he would himself behind his right ear. According to Sebastian Marroquin, he is absolutely certain that his father took his own life to save his family from being taken hostage by his enemies.
Yeah, he taught me because he told me not to fire in his mouth or any other part, just on the right ear. And it was the same place where the bullet appeared.
Say what you want about his ruthless approach to running an empire, but in the end, Escobar chose his family over himself. Ultimately, the specifics of how Escobar's life ended don't really matter, because his choice is clear. In Pablo Escobar's world, losing wasn't an option. He would do anything, even cheat his own kids and wife to protect them.
You call him a bad loser too.
Well, he didn't want to lose. He was always cheating, even to me or to my mom, to everybody. He didn't want to lose.
Unfortunately for Pablo, in the end, he lost. Or, depending on your perspective, you could argue that he won after all. I prefer to be in the grave in Colombia than in a jail cell in the United States. Pablo Escobar. So now you have your answer to what really happened on the day Pablo Escobar died. It was Pablo Escobar himself who decided to write the final chapter of his story. The ruthless king of cocaine understood that his enemies were closing in on his family, and he made the ultimate sacrifice, giving them a second chance at life. Escobar was buried just south of Medellin, and today his grave has become a tourist attraction. Fun fact, In 2018, a British tourist decided to pay tribute to his favorite drug lord by sniffing Colombian snow from Escobar's grave. Do you think you know everything about Pablo Escobar? I'm certain you don't even know half the facts in my next video. 101 facts about Pablo Escobar. Click the video and I'll see you there.